flip it to this, what to the video.
What it is, let's see here. If he moves out of it, move a little bit.
Just flip it to keep it on him.
Neither did I, man.
He's talking, he's looking at the screen when he puts the video on.
We're helping him out, you know? Doing a favor.
Not even in your class this semester. I should get like extra credit for future classes.
When he's got something on the screen.
You get good faith.
Okay?
Good faith points.
Which screen we right now? When you're done, it stops.
Move my chain. I don't know. Is it okay if I start? Okay, cool. Hello, my name's Dalton Spangler. I did my internship in Oslo, Norway. It was part of the Pay Before You Eat Productions, which is Tom Grant's company. I'll get to exactly what it is. And it was also part of IEI Media and their program called Oslo Rocks. So what are these companies? So Pay Before You Eat Productions, it's a documentary and commercial video production company. It was founded by Dr. Tom Grant. The IEI Media is the International Media Education Institute, and it's been sending student journalists abroad since 2001. Oslo Rocks, its particular mission is to immerse ourselves in the music culture and the music and culture of Norway's largest cities to provide deep and accurate print, online, multimedia reporting. Let's see. So the places we went, let's see. So Oslo was the main area that we were at. So we stayed there for 3 out of the 4.5 weeks we were there. We also visited Bergen over here, so we went on a train ride all the way up to Voss, which is where actually the water's from. Their tap water is literally the bottled water. Bergen was where we went to Bergenfest at, obviously. And then Halden was where Tons of Rock took place. It's right actually on the border of Sweden. Here's Sweden. And you can actually see Sweden across the Bay Area where it's at. This is a picture of Oslo. This is where we're mainly at. Back here is the Royal Palace. This is like one of the main streets. Down on the left is actually the town hall, like the city hall, and the bay where the opera house is and some of the other famous buildings. Bergen, this is the main bay of Bergen. It's kind of dark. But over here you have like the fishing markets where they sold whale and that kind of thing. We were in a hostel on the right. And then this is Halden. So back here you can see Sweden and the city of Halden. And we were up in a fortress, so you see some of the rotting, decaying walls of the fortress. But anyways, my goals, why were we going to these places? So I was here to learn how to do a long-form video project. And that includes learning how to do narrative, structure, use of character, scene setting, and writing a script. In professional video production, the writer sets up a script first and then gives it off to somebody else to actually make the video, the production, the producing of the video. And so writing a script before actually creating the video is harder than it sounds because you have to actually visualize the video you took and then put it into a written format that's a cohesive story. So I kind of played the role of, director, writer, producer, photographer, all this stuff. And then the other goal was to learn how to work as a team. So in order to make a professional grade video with solid audio, with solid photography, you have to have a couple people kind of working to get the sound, to get the video, and all this good stuff. And that brings issues. There's always something that needs to be taken care of, fires that's got to be put out. And also you kind of butt heads with some of the people you work with. So that was kind of a challenge that leads into something I'm going to talk about later. But anyway, we also had to learn how to edit audio, graphics, and place them into a well-paced, emotional, appealing, entertaining, and informative presentation. So I'll let you guys look at my video, and you can tell me if it's that. Let's see. Challenges. So the challenges, we were in an Airbnb 40 minutes outside of Oslo, so we had to commute every day. So we were kind of really immersed into like the average culture there. And that was just our group. The other half actually had an hour-long commute on a ferry, and they have their transit system there is called Router. And so they have trams, buses, and so whenever anything shut down, the challenge was kind of like figuring out how do we schedule around when the ferry stopped at 11 o'clock at night? How do we go out to these late night events when we have to be back by 11 and cover them properly, you know? So that was the challenge. Working as a team, we had to develop a workflow. You know, one half of the team was an hour and a half away, you know, the other half, you know, it was an hour and a half to get to both of us. So we were completely separate, so we'd have to meet in the middle. And we'd have to figure out, okay, how are we going to get this much work done when we're separated and constantly being given new stuff to work on? So we were writing every day. We had to kind of work with our professors to make sure that we were doing everything correctly, and they were copy editing for us. So we worked at a school in the Oslo city center, and that's how we kind of met in the middle and got things done. Each music festival was kind of a challenge in itself. I would approach every music festival like it was my first one. And you know, when you go to a music festival, it's always different. You know, the security's different, the rules are different. You know, a jazz festival is not going to be the same as a metal festival. You're going to have different fans, different artists, and they're going to have different attitudes, and you're always going to find a different story deeper than just the type of food there, you know, the truck food. Developing a video story was also a bit of a challenge. I remember when I first wrote my first draft of the script, the video was like 12 minutes long and extremely clunky. So I had to sit down and say like, okay, what is the most important part of the Tons of Rock Music Festival? And it was the headliner, the main act that sold most of the tickets, Ozzy Osbourne. So that became the focus, and I was able to cut out, you know, a solid 7 minutes down to about 5-minute long video. And then also the mastering process was a bit of a challenge, trying to make it to where it was punchy with the limited amount of material I had, because I actually went into it thinking I was going to write a story about it, not make a video piece about Tons of Rock. I came out thinking, you know what, this would make a great video piece, and I really need a video piece, so I'm going to make this into a video piece out of largely B-roll and photography, but also I can interview some of the reporters that were here with me out there. So that's what I ended up doing. This is the only picture I actually have of me. This is at PipFest in Oslo. Got a picture of me taking a picture of somebody else. This is Nick Mulvey. He's an international singer-songwriter. He actually did a really nice song about refugees. Let's see. So my learning outcomes. I gained photography skills by shooting photos and videos at 5 different music festivals all along the way, for the Fjords, the Gay Pride Festival. Industry experience, you know, I got to meet and work with real journalists and follow them while doing the same work. World experience, you know, this was a study abroad trip. I'm in a new place. I'm also immersing myself in the culture there, specifically the music culture. So I'm really getting an idea of the essence of what their music scene is like. Writing skills, you know, we're writing a variety of things. You know, we're writing blogs, we're writing feature pieces. So shorter form, longer form, personal, more, you know, newsy and professional. Reporting skills, you know, I reported at 6 different festivals, which is different from the 5. You know, one more because I decided that I didn't want to take photos at this festival because I wanted to focus on my reporting. I felt like I wasn't getting enough out of my reporting and focusing too much on my photography. So I teamed up with Jesse and Layla and asked them like, hey, will you guys take photos for me while I try and get the best story I can here? And that's what we ended up doing. And then also producing skills. You know, I think I developed a proficiency and a little bit of some mastery for stuff like Photoshop and Premiere. I know how to like turn a photo that doesn't completely reflect what was in front of my lens into something that does actually reflect reality and isn't fake or, you know, misleading. So yeah, thank you. Any questions? I'm going to show my video as well, but do you guys have any questions, I guess, before I?
See the video first.
Okay, see the video first? All right.
it was really cool. It was the first time I'd ever been to anything like that. Ozzy Osbourne was the main act for the first day, and for pretty much the entire festival. He was the big selling point. He was on all the billboards. He was on all the ads.
It's his farewell tour, but this is his second tour. That was a farewell tour. And then this one, I think, is going to be his actual farewell tour, but this one is also called No More Tours Tour 2.
That night, around 10,000 people came. You could tell. I mean, it was people, they were lining up on top of the walls, which they weren't supposed to be. They're like these cobblestone walls on the edges of the fortress. They were climbing on top of them so they could get a view of it. When he got up there, it was, Norway, they don't have, during the summer, they don't have nights very long. They have like 3-hour nights, 4-hour nights. So when he got up to perform, it was just as the sun was going down. So it just felt so appropriate for him for, the last bit of light to go away as he took the stage.
Ozzy himself was actually really good. It's weird how he's from Birmingham, UK, and first time I'm seeing him position also in Norway. And then so the fans, they a lot of them literally all of them dressed in black, which is obviously what you expect when you're at a metal festival. There's like fans dressed in like incredible Hulk outfits and stuff like that, and like looking behind in the pit, and then they're like posing for you as well. They're pretty cool. They all were drinking at about 7 in the morning, probably earlier. And then even when you was tenting, which actually surprisingly I usually wake up quite easy when I'm sleeping, but they played black metal like the whole time through 12 a.m. to about 8 a.m. But somehow I managed to like sleep through that. I don't even think they were partying, I just like listened to it.
Okay, here's the deal. We're gonna do one more song. But if you go crazy, we'll do maybe 2, 3 others. You gotta go show that crazy crowd. Come on. Here's a song called Crazy Train.
I think the best part about seeing Ozzy was seeing the crowd's reaction to him. They knew the majority of the words. They knew him and some of his history, and they seemed to react really well to his music. Quite a bit of people in their 20s, which seemed like they were just there to get drunk, and maybe see Ozzy just to have it on their like bucket list. Hey, I saw Ozzy or whatever. A lot of the people in the 30s and 40s and 50s that we saw, they were definitely there because they knew him.
You could tell he's definitely getting older. I didn't know at the time that it was part of his farewell tour, so it's like the last time that I'd probably ever have a chance to see him, and like knowing that was really cool. That I'll be able to say, I was one of the last people to see Ozzy tour. Ozzy being there and performing for what could possibly be his last time performing in Norway made that a very special experience for a lot of people. And I think that's probably what drove 10,000 people to want to go. It's just, this is my last chance to go see him. When you see a band live, you kind of establish, it's almost like establishing a relationship with them because somebody's going to be that emotional for someone. And so if you saw them maybe back, 10 years, 20 years ago, and you haven't seen them again since, it provides you that closure. It's like, this is where it ended up,
Well, it's his farewell tour, unless he decides to do a No More Tours Tour 3. Then yeah, sure, maybe I'll take my mom to go see him.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? So Dr. Grant was the one that interviewed me, so that's why I'm in the video. I didn't interview myself. So, yeah.
So they're chanting one more song in English. That's interesting.
Yeah, oh, so that's something too. Pretty much everybody in Norway speaks English, and pretty fluently as well. It's kind of like the universal language there. But they also, a lot of them speak Norwegian, and that's sort of become a trend, actually, in the music scene, is for artists to return to singing to Norwegian rather than English. It's kind of like a pride thing. Previously most people sang in English because you can get more audiences that way, and especially with more British American rock music, it made more sense to sing in English. But now there's kind of a resurgence in Norwegian artists, and it's talking to different musicians there. Some say that it's more difficult to write rhymes and melodies in Norwegian, in like the rock format or like country format, but yeah. So it made it a lot easier to report though, since most of them spoke English. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I noticed that when you listed the challenges, one of them was not with the speech language.
Yeah, they were great. They were wonderful.
Yeah, that's one. That is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So for those of you who are doing the steps, we should point out that Ethan and Dalton are writing your next piano, or is it
I can go there.
okay. Hannah's acting on it.
Try just hooking this to your collar.
Absolutely not. Yes. It's okay. If I can get it on. If it'll stay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alrighty. Are y'all ready? Yeah? Okay. So my name is Hannah Mosley. I was the HR intern for Daybreak Foods Incorporated. It is an egg producing company up in Wisconsin where I lived for 3 months. And I will say I did not go to another country, but I'm pretty sure I got really close. So I was the first HR intern that Daybreak has ever had, so that put a little extra pressure on me to make sure that I was doing a good job. There we go. A little bit about Daybreak Foods. We are one of the top 5 egg producing companies in the nation. We have 5 farms around 4 states. We have farms in Ohio, Iowa, Wisconsin, and South Dakota. And then we're a breaker facility, so we don't package our eggs and send them out to stores. We break our eggs in center, and then we send them off in big tankers like you see, like gasoline, milk, other things like that. So our eggs are not in shell. Our eggs are broken out of the shell. The 5 learning goals that I had for my internship this summer was I really wanted to learn how to write job descriptions. I wanted to learn how to orientate new hires, and when I went in, I told my HR boss that I wanted to be able to do the entire hiring process from beginning to end with no help from anybody else. I just wanted to be able to do that just to say that I could. And in the end, I was able to do it. It was a lot more difficult than I expected it would be, but I managed. I manage the social media account, so I manage the Facebook and Instagram pages. I assisted in advancing the recruiting brand of Daybreak. We're about to expand to a cage-free facility, which is going to add about another 200 workers to our farm in Wisconsin where I worked. And so it was really important for us to start nailing down who we were as a company so that we could then go out and sell ourselves to the people to come and work for us. And then I helped prepare for the expansion in other small ways that I'll talk about. There we go. To write job descriptions, this was my toughest challenge, surprisingly, not because it was hard to write the job descriptions, but it was really hard to get organized. We have 2 farms in Wisconsin, and at every computer that I looked at, there were different files, and in every file that I looked at, there were different job descriptions, and nobody was using the same job description for the same job. So I had to go through all of the computers that I could get my hands on, take all of those files and put them into an archive file so that there wasn't any confusion about which job description to use for which job and which was the most updated and the right template. So I went and archived all those. That took me about 2 weeks to find all of the job descriptions and put them away in their own separate file. And then I created a new public file where everybody could access it, where they could get all of the new job descriptions, where there's only one job description for one job, and that took me about another 2 weeks to do. And then I went and visited all of the departments, and I followed around different managers and employees because I thought it was really important to find out the job that I was writing about, what it was like, what was involved, what all went into it. So I had to sit down in different meetings with different managers and explain what I wanted to do. I had to talk to them about what they wanted to be included in the job descriptions, what wasn't necessarily accurate anymore, what needed to be taken out, and what just needed to be left alone. And then I had to come up with a plan to write those job descriptions to ensure that all of that was included. In the end, we managed to take all of the job descriptions and put them into one file of everything that was relevant to the company as a whole. And then we cut and pasted from that file onto the job description that we were writing. So we didn't have to start completely over from scratch. I thought that was the best way to do it. The departments that I went to production first. So in Wisconsin, in the farms we have a production side, and that is our live chickens, our barns, and our animal welfare techs work there. And then we have our processing plant, and the processing plant is where we wash our eggs, where we crack our eggs, and where we make sure that they're the right temperature and get sent out to the people who need them. So I toured production, I went into the barns. I am not a barn kind of girl, and I learned that very quickly. I went down to the pits, which is where we keep our manure and fatalities, and that was interesting to say the least. And I followed the animal welfare techs and the production maintenance around to decide what their job was, what they did on a daily basis, and what was kind of out of the regular norms for them. And then I went to processing. I was much more suited for processing, I found out. I toured the cannler breaker rooms. That's where we cannel our eggs, where we wash them. I found out that eggs can start to rot inside before they get out of the shell. So in the cannler room, you have to pay particular attention if there's any rot inside of the egg, because if it gets into the tanker, that tanker has to be thrown out, and that's a lot of money down the drain, literally. So I found out that that was a really important job, and then the tanker loader lead, make sure that the tanks stay at correct temperature, make sure that they're sanitized correctly, and make sure that they get sent out on time. And then I followed the processing maintenance around. Processing maintenance is our hardest job to hire for because it requires the most experience out of all of the jobs that aren't managerial work. So for processing maintenance, you have to have a lot of experience with HVAC and cooling systems and heating systems, and it takes a lot to get somebody to be able to work here. So I wanted to pay particular attention to that position. To recruit and orientate new hires, we use ZipRecruiter. So ZipRecruiter was something that I checked 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That way I gave it enough time to bring up new hires, and I wasn't overloading the system at the same time. I had to communicate with 4 different agencies that we worked with to tell them what positions we had open and communicate what people that they had available to interview. And then I scheduled the interviews, and I did all of the follow-up with the managers who interviewed the employees and with the employees themselves to find out if there was something that they were concerned about Daybreak, so that we could go in and correct those issues so that other people didn't have those same concerns. I scheduled all of the orientations, and I did a couple of orientations myself. I prepared all of the new hire paperwork and packets beforehand, and then I entered all of the employment paperwork into our systems. We have 2 systems that we use. We use Kronos and Paychex. and they are very difficult to maneuver if you have no idea what you're doing, like I did. So it took me a while to figure out exactly how to do it and where everything went. And then I managed the social media sites. I had the most fun with this project. Being from Georgia, it was always really cold to me. They still pick on me because I would go into my office in the mornings and I would turn on my heater and I'd have on my sweater and everybody else was sweating, but I was really, really cold. So I would celebrate any and every opportunity that I could for a sunny day or a beach day or something like that. So these are our chickens out at the lake having a good old time. And then the eggs were for 4th of July. We really wanted to focus on egg recipes and easy stuff like that. So all you have to do is add food coloring to the eggs. And then this was a simple recipe, portobello mushrooms and a fried egg. It's not difficult, but it was fun. This was probably my favorite reoccurring job that I had while I worked in Wisconsin. I was really excited about the way that social media grew for Daybreak. So when I got hold of the Facebook, they had 27 likes, and now they're up to 97 likes on Facebook. That number might be a little inaccurate because I haven't looked in the past 2 days. 27 followers on Instagram. We had a person comment with 10,000 followers, and I got really excited because they have a lot of followers, and they commented on my picture. And then we have 47 people apply for jobs over Facebook. And I added that because I thought it was really important for people to realize that Facebook is a real tool that's starting to emerge in the working business, and you can use that to find hires who are really interested in working. This thing does not want to work for me. That's all right. I attended career fairs, community events. I included checking ZipRecruiter in this also because that is part of our recruitment brand. And then I posted and monitored the jobs on Facebook. This is at the Dane County Fair. We went to the fair and we handed out deviled eggs, hard-boiled eggs, and cupcakes to all of the people just to say, hey, we're a part of your community. We really enjoy being a part. Please find out more about us. Here are some job applications if you're looking. That was really fun. And then different community events that we went to. We went to a couple of job fairs in the surrounding counties and started preparing for the expansion to cage-free. To expand to cage-free, we had to create a Gantt chart. A Gantt chart lists all of the job openings that you're going to have for the expansion, when you need to start looking for people to hire, when you need to have those people hired by, when you need to start training them, and when they need to be able to do their jobs on their own. That was really helpful for us as an HR department, for the other people, for the other facilities to be able to say, hey, this is what we're going to need. You should get on this. We found out that before the Gantt chart was made, we really should have been starting about 3 weeks earlier, but it's all right. I planned recruiting events, so we have about 5 recruiting events in the next few months that I went ahead and planned while I was in Wisconsin. We decided that we needed 82 people in production and 30 in processing, and that is a big jump. We have about 50 employees in each right now, and we need to add these numbers to that. So that's a lot of people to hire. And then I did requisitions, job descriptions, and spreadsheets. For requisitions, when you make a job description, you have to make a requisition to go along with it that we send out to all of the rest of the farms over all of the states to say this position is open in this state and this is what they're going to do. So I had to create all of those along with the job descriptions, and then I made spreadsheets for all of the HR people to say I've had this person come and talk to me about this job. We had weekly meetings every Wednesday to discuss what was happening with the cage-free, to discuss what was happening at the farms in general, and then to get together with all of the interns to discuss what was going on within our internship. I led the HR portion of the weekly meetings when Jillian wasn't present. Jillian is my boss. I think I led 6 out of the 10 meetings that I went to, so it was a big number. I got to really be a part of the HR department and head up some of those discussions that we had. And then we discussed weekly updates about internships, who was doing what they needed from the HR department, and different things like that. Other duties that I had while I was in HR, I did referral retention bonuses. Daybreak offers bonuses if you stay with the company for a certain amount of days. Every if you stay within 30 days, you get $150, 60 days, $150, and then 90 days, $150. And that gives incentive to stay with the company. And then if you refer someone to the company and they stay on for that amount of time, you get $250 at those allotted time sections. I did the turnover spreadsheet so that our head of HR could determine what we were doing correctly as an HR department, what needed to be fixed, why people weren't as satisfied with their work as they should be. I did an I-9 audit. So an I-9 audit is for OSHA. If OSHA were to come in or the federal government were to come in and say, hey, are you doing your due diligence to make sure that everyone that you have working is able to work for your company in the United States, we could hand them the booklet with all of our information and go, yes, here's our audit that we just completed. This is what we have. Of course, as an intern, I did filing, and I did all of the payroll forms and the affirmative action plan. That just makes sure that we're hiring people and we're not discriminating against them for any reason. I also did incident reporting because we are a production and processing facility. OSHA requires that we meet certain standards, so I took care of all of the reporting for that. I did all of the pre-employment. Pre-employment is what happens before you hire the person. Post-employment is what happens while they're working for you. And then unemployment, I got to go through and work on a case to decide if someone was eligible for unemployment benefits and things like that. So I got to handle that case personally, which I thought was really, really cool. I did requisitions, like I mentioned before, and open enrollment is our insurance plan, and I went through and created all of the paperwork for that. Any questions?
I have a question. Normally we ask, well, you know, how did we prepare you for this internship or how did we not? What I want to ask is, now that you've done this internship, what did you learn that you can bring back here to finish out your degree?
So I'm actually still the social media consultant for Daybreak, and I'm not going to be an intern next summer. I'm going to be an employee, but I'm going to be in charge of all of their interns. So the one thing that I think that I brought back to ABAC is that opportunity to say, I can hire interns. I can get you an internship if you want one. So I brought another company. I was their first ABAC representative. They've never heard of ABAC. So I brought an entirely new company with an entirely new facet of agricultural industry to ABAC and opened a line of communication that wasn't there before. So.
How did you find out about them?
So I was in 4-H in high school. I was very active. I went to 5 national contests in the time that I was up there. 3 of those contests were poultry oriented. And from those 3 contests, I worked with the same man twice. And he used to work with Daybreak, and he always said, you know, once you need an internship, just, you know, contact me. I'll get you set up with one. And he set me up with my boss, Jillian, and it just kind of took over from there. So it was a 4-H thing, but ABAC really prepared me for being able to go up there and kind of know what I was doing and at least being able to learn quickly. So
So when do you graduate?
I graduate hopefully December 2020. So I just started my junior year, but I should graduate half a year early, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
So you'll go next summer?
Yes, ma'am.
Go back,
Yes, ma'am.
and they'll have you on as an employee?
Yes, ma'am.
So is your plan just to continue with them even after graduation?
That's what the plan is right now. It isn't an official offer, but they've said that once I graduate school, they'd be very excited if I would want to come and work for Daybreak in the future. So hopefully I get a job with them at least for a couple of years to be able to get some experience under my belt.
Are they just in Wisconsin?
No, ma'am. They're over 4 states. So Wisconsin, Iowa,
No, southern
Ohio.
states?
No, ma'am. Egg facilities tend to be up in the northwestern part of the country, or the central part, and then we have broilers down here. So,
Is that for temperature reasons?
yes, ma'am. And it's just easier to raise eggs up north.
I'm not familiar with like the poultry production. You know, what exactly is candling?
Okay, so candling I need to use my hands. You take the egg and you put a light under it and you look inside the egg, and that gives you, because the shell is thin enough, you can look inside and see if there's anything abnormal about the egg, if there's any chicken growth, although we are not supposed to have roosters in our barns. Supposed to. You can look for rots. If there's different kind of rot, so there's black rot, green rot, and another kind of rot that I can't remember right now. And then you can look and see if there's like blood spots in the egg. That doesn't necessarily harm the consumer, just makes the egg not as pretty, so you don't want it in your batch. So that's what candling is. Anything else? Awesome. Who wants this?
Thank you. Can I ask you to hook this onto your collar?
Oh, yeah.
Just with the mic bud facing towards your mouth.
You're welcome. It says the, oh, there you go. Okay, so. Yes. I did my not my presentation, my internship at Darmody Medical Center in the Public Relations and Marketing Department, which is located in Fitzgerald, Georgia. It provides services for people in the Ben Hill community and also other surrounding areas such as Tifton, Coffee County, and Osceola, Georgia. The DMC mission is to reach people in surrounding areas who does not have access to the services that DMC provided. And one of the ones that DMC have that some hospitals don't have is the behavioral health program. My supervisor was Ms. Holly Lee. She is the Community Relations or PR and Marketing Director of DMC. My role was to assist with completing projects, manage the spread of information, help ensure that DMC is building a relationship with organizations and the public. I had a lot of adjectives. I did a lot of things, and I wasn't able to put it on a PowerPoint, but I built presentations, and one of them was about the new renovations that DMC wanted to do for their departments. I did media relations. I was able to go to the radio station to, just talk about the event, the upcoming events that was coming, such as the Harmony Jubilee bike ride and also the blood drive event. I helped develop a new website. The website is not up yet, but what I did was I helped organize the information so they can give it to the people who is going to, format the website. I also learned how to communicate with community partners and connect with people, networking, and etc. And that was pretty much during meetings, because I wasn't really for sure about networking. I asked her what was networking. She was like, it's just you going to different meetings and, meeting with people from different organizations. And I assist with creating marketing material, promoting events, and use social media for marketing. And that was for two main projects, which was the Harmony Jubilee bike ride and also the Blood Drive Badges for Life event. And I assist with coordinating and executing healthcare. These are some of the projects that I just mentioned. One of the I went to several meetings. And one of the meetings that I went to was the Lions Club meeting, and there they just talked about what they wanted to do as far as, like I said, with the upcoming events that was going on. And this is Miss Bridget. She was just educating, she's actually a nurse. These two are nurses, and she was just educating the people at the meeting about diabetes, you know, the signs and symptoms and what to look for. So the meetings can be about, you know, things that they want to, you know, plan, you know, as far as with events, but the meetings are also sometimes about, you know, just educating people about health issues. And one of the other meetings that I went to, a lady, she was talking about substance abuse, you know, people abusing prescriptions and stuff like that. And she had me to cut out, you know, things that DMC have done over the years for the Ben Hill community. And one of them is DMC says it's time to pink out Fitzgerald. And that's just the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this is the winner who gave more blood than the people who actually gave blood, but this was just one of the blood drive events that was years ago. And they also donate supplies to the school systems in Ben Hill County. And this is the blood drive event, the Badges for Life. I actually had a great time with this because I was able to meet people, you know, from different aspects of life. And one of the ladies, she told me that, you know, she's not a racist. You know, I'm glad that she told me that, you know, had that conversation with me because, you know, I was pretty much the only Black person that was there. And so she kind of made me feel comfortable. Yeah, so, I mean, and she was just saying, you know, that, you know, she's not like that. And you know, if I need anything, just let her know. But these are the two volunteers, some of the volunteers. And this is the EMTs, because what the Blood Drive Badge of Life is about is just to recognize the people like EMTs and the police officers, and also what was the other one? EMTs, officers, and I can't think of a third one, but it was just to let them know how much we appreciate the work that they do for the Ben Hill community. And it was one of them that they wanted to, you know, do this in memory of was Anna, and I forgot the other guy, I'm sorry. And because they actually passed away while doing their duty, so they just wanted to, you know, just let them know, especially the police officers, just let them know that, you know, how much they appreciate the work that they do, because they was like, they really don't get recognized for the things that they do despite of what's going on in the world. This is me. I actually gave blood, and this is one of the EMTs. She set up a table just to, you know, let people, I guess just to inform people about the things that the EMTs do for the Ben Hill community, and these were just some goodies that she decided to just give out while she was informing people. And this was some of the young volunteers. It was a lot of them, so. And here go me and Miss Holly. Here go me and the supervisor of the One Blood, and this is the winner of the blood drive. He won $100 because he gave more blood than those who was there. So their reward was $100. The Harmony Jubilee bike ride, I was able to work that. I didn't really have any pictures for it, so that's why I just, you know, passed out the shirt, because that's a shirt that they gave us to work it. This is actually a new event for DMC. This is their second annual Harmony Jubilee Pedaling for Purpose. It was on a Saturday morning. It didn't last long because the bike riders there were really fast, so it was like, you know, you're not gonna stay long anyway. But the miles was the 7 mile, the 30 mile, and the 62. And preparing for this event was kind of, I don't want to say tough, but it wasn't hectic either, but it was just time consuming because we had to go out and mark all of the 7 mile to 30 mile and the 62 miles, and the 62 mile is very long. So we spent like from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. to they close, you know, to make sure that, you know, the bike riders knew where to go. So, but that was pretty fun. And every year, DMC, they provide a luncheon for the new teachers at Ben Hill County School System. Oh, sorry. What was crazy about this event that I went to and also help her with, because some of the people that I met, I actually knew them from high school, and also some of them go to my church as well. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's really crazy. But they actually really appreciated what we have done for them. So, and this is one of the, these are the renovations that I did the presentation over. This is the new chapel that they did renovations for, and this is the outpatient registration office. So they renovated the flooring, and they did a great job because before this was really bad. So they just want to make sure that, you know, when people walk through, at least they can see the chapel until they get, you know, the whole, you know, building renovated. And it's like every week or every year, not every year, every week or like every couple weeks, they always award their employees for the duties that they do at Ben Hill, not at Ben Hill, Dormany Medical Center. I'm sorry, I'm just nervous. You know, this is good because some of them, you know, due to the conversation that I had heard, they feel like they're not really appreciated. And so they just do this so their employees can feel like they are worthy, you know, of the duties that they do, that they're not doing it just because, you know, so they just wanted to make them feel like they are, you know, worth something, and that they are also proud of what they do at the hospital. So it was a lot of people who actually was winners. But I was asked to take this picture, so that's how I got a hold to this picture. Every year, DMC, they give out scholarships for people who want to work in healthcare. And so these were the 3 winners, and I was also asked to take these pictures of them so they can be placed in the newspaper, because they're also placed in the newspaper as well. And so it's a $500 scholarship check that they give to them, and they can do whatever they want to do with it, you know. But this is okay. But she is going to school to become a radiology technician. He's going to school to become a nurse, and she's going to school for something that's to do with pediatrician. But they are. She is going to Albany State, and these 2 are going to ABAC. So that's a good thing, because they asked me what I was doing. I was like, I'm an internship. I'm interning at DMC, and they asked me what school I go to, and I was like, ABAC. And they was like, oh, okay, I'm going to ABAC too. So I was like, okay. I said, ABAC is a good school, so I mean, you'll really like it. And so the challenge that I faced was keeping up to speed, you know, with the things that she wanted me to do. I did complete all of the tasks, all of the assignments, but it was just so much to do, because PR and marketing professionals, they have so much to do. They go to a lot of meetings. They have a lot of stuff to do online, you know. So it was just a lot, and I had a hard time keeping up. But I actually got all the assignments completed. Asking questions, I was kind of nervous about asking questions, because I kind of felt like, you know, maybe they probably get tired of me asking questions, because I like to ask questions a lot. So I was like, maybe I should not ask, you know, so many questions. But they was like, ask all the questions that you need to ask. And so the initiative that I showed was I distribute marketing material. I helped Miss Holly distribute marketing material at companies, you know, in the Ben Hill community. Some of them, the challenge that I faced there was that some of them, they don't do that. for competitive reasons. So, but other than that, it was all good. I completed all the assignments given by the supervisor. I began assignments without being told. She liked it, you know, and supervisors and people who you work with, they really like for you to, you know, work on assignments without, you know, them having to tell you. And so I also was able to help employees who needed help. It was this guy. He's moving across seas, and he wanted me to help him, you know, fax all his papers and put them online so he can be able to take them with him. And so I didn't hesitate to do it because, you know, I'm a helping person. So if you want me to do something for you, I was going to do it. And they really liked it, the fact that I was willing to do it. And he thanked me. And he also gave me like a little jar of cooking stuff for helping him. So, and also this lady, she gave me a bracelet. And I was like, oh, thank you, because I wasn't expecting none of that. But they was really, they was really nice and respectful. And I would recommend anybody to go to DMC to do an internship. And the things I learned from other classes was the professional communication class. I learned to write professional thank you notes because after the blood drive was over with, I had to write professional thank you letters to people who actually donated, you know, to make sure or to ensure that the blood drive was a success. So in public health, I learned, you know, about the health condition that affect people such as substance abuse and also diabetes. And research methods, I did a little research, so I just put research methods. But she taught me about research, you know, especially in the healthcare field, because you have to do a lot of research, especially in PR and marketing. And the benefits I received was I was exposed to job opportunities and increased marketability for employees and increased computer skills. And I say that because this lady, she wanted to train me to be a pharmacy tech. And I was like, not right now, not during the internship. But she was like, whenever I, you know, feel as if I want to, you know, work in that field, she said, just always come back to me and I will train you, because she was like, you know, you really don't have to go to school to become a pharmacy tech, but students are doing it anyway. But she was like, you really don't have to go to school for that. So she was like, that would just eliminate you from having to, you know, pay out so much tuition, a lot of money just to get something that, you know, that's not going to really pay a whole lot. So you would just, so she was like, you would just be going to school for that, paying all that money, and you only would get about $30,000 a year. So she was like, you'll be, you know, having to pay all that money back with the little money that you'll make. So she was like, that's why she tried to stress that to a lot of people who try to, you know, go into that field, that you really don't have to go to school for that. So I was really, I would say, blessed, you know, for that opportunity, because it was another student, she mentioned that to me as well, and she also worked at TIF Region. I think y'all know who I'm talking about. But she told me about that, and then when the lady told me, I was like, she's right. So when you work in the healthcare, you will find job opportunities that you won't even have to go to school for. So, and the things that I learned was public relations serves for organizations such as hospitals, schools, volunteer association, business foundation, and etc. Because I did not know that Ben Hill County was connected to the school system. I did not know that. I was very surprised. I did not know that they give out scholarships. I did not know. So one of the pink ladies, she told me, since you're going to school to become a community health educator, she was like, just fill out your application so you can get a scholarship. I was like, well, thank you. But yeah, I just didn't know that Ben Hill, that Durham Medical Center was, you know, that involved in the community. And so with the help of Ms. Holly Lee, because she's over that, and also with Ms. Brianna, she's a coordinator, and she also worked with Ms. Holly Lee, and I was able to meet her. And so I had gave you guys a brochure, I think it was about the Civil Rights Care, I think it was. That's what Miss Brianna do, and so she was able to let me use that to let y'all see what DMC do, and what they do for, what they try to do, to, help people, bring people in, so I don't know. I'm sorry. But the opioid, the CEO of Dormity, she asked me to do a brochure over a health issue. And so I was like, really? And so, because it was like my last week, so I was like, how in the heck I'm going to get this done? And so Miss Brianna, when I got done with that brochure, I gave it to Miss Brianna. I let her see it. She said, that's really good. She said, this is what you will be doing as a community health educator, because she was like, the same thing that I do is the same thing that you'll be doing. So it gave me a little bit of reassurance, because I was kind of torn of what I really wanted to do. Because when I went into this internship and worked with Miss Holly Lee, they all actually helped me to get on the right track of what I want to do. So, and I also met a health educator. She's really good at what she do. And she told me about being a nurse health educator. So I was like, I did not know that. So she was like, she asked me how many credit hours I had, and I told her how many credits I had, and she was like, just try to look into being a nurse health educator. So, like I said, DMC, they will help you, try to get on the right path with, with the career, whatever you want to do. So that's why I said I would recommend anybody to go to DMC and do an internship, because they will lead you down the right path. The networking opportunities was, I attended meetings to meet with people from different organizations and discuss business opportunity. And I'm not for sure, did that guy send you a picture of me and him? He didn't. He didn't send it, but it's okay. I was able to meet with, people from boards and all of that. And, there was like that they have worked with students from ABAC. So there was like, you in the right place, just continue doing what you were doing. And so, but the meetings were, like I said, mostly about, the upcoming events that they are planning to do for the people in the Big Hill community. And the skills that I developed was marketing, advertising, competition research, and tech savvy. Miss Holly Lee, she helped me to become a tech savvy, because she was like, when I was doing my PowerPoint, she was like, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. She's like, this is how, you're supposed to put the outline and stuff. Because she was like, when you do your presentation, you don't want, letters to be, small, or letters to be large. You just want it to be perfect. And so I was like, I was very appreciative of that. I didn't complain. I didn't be like, I know how to do this. No, I just listened, and whatever she said, I did it, because she'd been in my position before. So I was like, well, she knows what she's talking about, so I ain't even gonna even bicker about that with her. Advertising and marketing, like I said, I had went to different companies and, just asked them, can I post, flyers, so people can become aware of that. We are having a blood drive event, and also we are having a bike ride event, and they didn't have no issue. It was just one company that had an issue, but the other ones did not have an issue. And also when I went into one store, this lady, she really thanked me. She said, you're doing a great job. And she was like, just keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, well, thank you. So thank you for your time.
Questions?
I graduate, it was supposed to be in the fall, but another class was added, so I have to take an extra semester, so I graduate in I want to say the spring of 2020. Yeah.
What do you mean another class was added?
Well, when I switched my degree, yeah, another core class was added.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? You talk about different networking opportunities, different things people exposed you to. I mean, did it give you
idea, or are you just like, you've got options now? Is that what you're trying to do?
Well, after talking to them and after talking to different other people who have been in school, they told me to just use community health as a backup, degree or a backup plan until I actually become a nurse, because I actually want to major in nursing, and that's before I even came here. I was majoring in nursing, but some things happened, so I dropped out, and so I was kind of lost for a while. And so when I came here, and when I started talking to people here, also, they told me that also that I can use this as a backup degree until I go to master's degree school to major in nursing, because after I had did my research on the master's degree program, it's called Direct Entry MSN program. They said I can get into their program with any degree, any bachelor's degree. I don't even need a nursing degree, so I can just get in their program and do my nursing, and when I complete it, I'll have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in nursing. So
Where's that through? Where's that from?
that's at Augusta State University.
Okay.
Yeah.
News to me.
Yeah, I know. So, like I said, at research, yeah. Like she taught me a lot about research, and like research is very important, especially when you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, so it's best to do your own research. So.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, who owes me something?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm not having a look in the grade book. Just get it to me.
I don't think I owe
For now. Does he want us to do the full time, like the next session as well, or is that going to be Jesse and Shannon?
Here's this.
Stop streaming and stop recording.